Welcome to the Gunners Nation. This is the perfect channel for all Arsenal fans. Don't miss out on this incredible community. Subscribe, activate the bell, and leave your like to strengthen this Gunners Legion. Thank you. Arsenal's latest injury update ahead of Nottingham Forest clash, with Arteta confirming a major boost. As Arsenal prepare to return to Premier League action this Saturday with Nottingham Forest visiting the Emirates Stadium for the early kickoff, Mikel Arteta has delivered a mixture of relief, optimism, and caution regarding his squad's fitness. The Gunners started the season in strong form, keeping clean sheets in their first two games, but a hard-fought loss to Liverpool just before the September international break saw them stumble and pick up yet another injury concern. Star centre-back William Saliba was forced off during the match, later missing international duty with France. But in a surprising and welcome twist, Arteta provided a much more positive update than fans expected during Friday's pre-match press conference. William trained today, Arteta revealed. So we have a decision to make. That single sentence felt like a breath of fresh air for supporters who feared a longer absence. Saliba's presence in the backline has become pivotal for Arsenal's defensive stability, and his potential availability could shift the momentum of the match entirely. And the good news didn't stop there. Arteta also confirmed that Ben White and Christian Norgard, who both missed Arsenal's last two matches, have returned to full training. While Norgard is still awaiting his competitive debut, both players could be key options going forward. Additionally, Piero Hincapié, Arsenal's late window signing from Bayer Leverkusen, is ready for action after featuring in two full matches with Ecuador during the break. Yes, he's ready to play, said Arteta. He's trained with us for 2 days and finished the international break on a high with Argentina. However, not everything is back to full strength. Arsenal are still without three important players, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, and Kai Havertz, each dealing with different recovery timelines. Of the trio, Saka is the closest to returning, but even his involvement against Nottingham Forest has been ruled out. Bukayo is out, Arteta confirmed. He's working hard to come back as soon as possible. Saka picked up a thigh injury nearly 3 weeks ago. There's cautious optimism that he could return by the time Arsenal face Manchester City at the end of the month, though that remains uncertain. Meanwhile, Nottingham Forest arrive in North London under their new manager, Ange Postecoglou, but not without their own injury troubles. Right-back Ola Aina suffered a thigh injury just 10 minutes into Nigeria's World Cup qualifier against South Africa. According to reports from The Telegraph, scans have confirmed that Aina will be sidelined for up to 3 months, with a return in December being the most optimistic scenario. It's a tough one, Postecoglou admitted. He picked up the injury with the national team. We were waiting for the results, and unfortunately, it's not what we hoped for. To make matters more complicated for Forest, Oleksandr Zinchenko, on loan from Arsenal, is ineligible to play against his parent club. Midfielder Nicolas Dominguez is also unavailable, still recovering from a knee surgery he underwent in May. With both teams navigating injury lists and integrating returning players, Saturday's match at the Emirates promises to be more than just a test of tactics. It will be a test of depth, character, and resilience. For Arteta, the return of key figures like Saliba and White could be the edge Arsenal need to reignite their campaign. But it's also another reminder of how vital physical management and player care have become in a relentless football calendar. And if there's one thing Arteta has made clear this season, through words and actions, it's that the club's culture is built on more than just who starts on match day. It's about unity, belief, and showing up even when the odds are against you. Arsenal injury update. Key absences and surprising boosts ahead of Nottingham Forest clash. As Arsenal prepares to return to Premier League action against Nottingham Forest at the Emirates this Saturday, Mikel Arteta faces a familiar challenge, managing a growing injury list while keeping the team competitive. The Gunners started the season solidly with 2 clean sheet victories but stumbled against Liverpool before the international break. That defeat not only halted momentum but also came with a price. Centre-back William Saliba picked up a knock and missed international duty with France. Fortunately, Arteta offered a surprisingly positive update in his pre-match press conference, stating that Saliba had returned to training and could be available for selection. William trained today, said Arteta. We'll have to make a decision. Saliba's potential return is a major boost, especially with other key players still sidelined. Ben White and Christian Norgard have also rejoined full training, giving Arteta more options in defence and midfield. Meanwhile, Piero Hincapié, who joined the club late in the transfer window, is now fit and available after playing 180 minutes with Ecuador over the break. Piero is ready, Arteta confirmed. He trained with us for 2 days and looked sharp. Despite these positives, several important players remain out. Bukayo Saka is still recovering from a thigh injury, and while there is hope he may return by the end of the month, he won't feature this weekend. Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz are also sidelined with longer-term issues, and Gabriel Martinelli has joined the list with a hamstring problem expected to keep him out for a few weeks. Takahiro Tomiyasu, having undergone knee surgery, is not expected to return until next year. These absences will test Arsenal's depth, particularly during a stretch that includes not only domestic matches but also key Champions League fixtures. On the other side, Nottingham Forest is also dealing with significant injury setbacks. Ola Aina suffered a thigh injury during international duty and is expected to be out for around 3 months. Additionally, Oleksandr Zinchenko is ineligible to face Arsenal due to loan regulations, and midfielder Nicolas Dominguez remains in recovery from knee surgery earlier this year. Forest's new manager, Ange Postecoglou, has acknowledged the challenges, particularly losing Aina so early in his tenure. Nevertheless, the team will be looking to adapt and bring fresh energy under new leadership. What this means moving forward. For Arsenal, the coming weeks will be a true test of their squad resilience and adaptability. The absence of key attackers puts more pressure on the likes of Martin Degaard, Leandro Trossard, and possibly younger players like Reece Nelson or Fabio Vieira to step up. Arteta will need to manage minutes carefully, especially with the congested fixture list ahead. There's also a psychological component. Having leaders like Saliba or White back on the pitch can uplift the team and provide much-needed stability. But every match carries weight, and with title hopes and Champions League ambitions on the line, the margin for error is razor-thin. For Forest, a reshuffled lineup and new tactical direction under Postecoglou will take time to settle. Missing key defenders and midfield options could leave them exposed against a high-pressing, possession-heavy Arsenal side, especially at the Emirates. Both teams are entering the match with high stakes, not just for points, but for momentum. For Arsenal, this is an opportunity to show that even without several stars, the system, culture, and belief Arteta has built are strong enough to carry them through. Everything Mikel Arteta said about Nottingham Forest, injuries, Liverpool, and more, translated and reframed. Ahead of Arsenal's clash with Nottingham Forest, Mikel Arteta sat down with the press, and Football.London captured all the key moments, from injury updates on William Saliba and Bukayo Saka to his thoughts on Ange Postecoglou, Liverpool's resurgence, and the club's future. Here's a reimagined, more personal account of everything Arteta shared. It's good to see you all again. I hope you managed to get a little break. That's how Mikel Arteta opened his Friday press conference, visibly refreshed but focused, eager to dive back into football after the international break. He took the opportunity to reflect during the pause. It was time to review what we did in the first part of the season. Watching our internationals perform, some with incredible success, was rewarding. Mikel Merino's hat-trick, Degaard's consistency with Norway, and Noni Maduke's first goal for England were all great moments. Injury updates, Saka, Saliba, White and Havertz. There was some positive news. William Saliba returned to training, giving the team a potential boost. Unfortunately, Bukayo Saka remained sidelined. He's still out, doing everything to come back quickly, but we have to respect the process. Arteta also confirmed that Ben White is fully fit, and Kai Havertz, who recently underwent a procedure, is progressing well. Kai is in good spirits, starting to move freely. It'll take some time, weeks or months, but knowing him, we might be surprised by how quickly he returns. As for Gabriel Jesus, who was left out of the Champions League squad, Arteta was transparent. He had a significant surgery. We're targeting a return between December and January. Hopefully, he'll be ahead of schedule. On the signing of Piero Hincapié. Speaking on Arsenal's newest arrival, Piero Hincapié, Arteta said, "We've followed him for years. With Jakob leaving, we needed another profile in that position, someone versatile and experienced despite his age. He's trained just a couple of days, but is ready to be selected if needed." Facing Nottingham Forest and Ange Postecoglou's return. Ange Postecoglou returns to the Emirates with Forest, having previously faced Arteta 4 times, and lost all of them. Arteta, however, spoke highly of the Australian coach. He's left a real imprint on his teams. There's a clear identity and purpose. It's great to have personalities like him in the Premier League. While Postecoglou's tactical style is distinct, Arteta emphasized the importance of focusing inward. You can prepare all week, but after 5 or 60 minutes, things can change. So we work daily to adapt, no matter who we face. On Arsenal's DNA and tactical identity, Arteta was asked about what defines Arsenal's DNA in today's unpredictable Premier League. I always find that term, DNA, interesting. Is it how we press? How we play out from the back? Long throws? Short passes? It depends on the context. The game evolves constantly. But when pressed to define his team's identity, he smiled. Let's go take a blood test. Jokes aside, he insisted Arsenal's style blends flexibility with clarity, and that's what makes them competitive. David Raya's record and external perceptions. Arteta praised David Raya, who's about to make his 100th club appearance and boasts 41 clean sheets. It's an incredible stat, his broken records at this club. When we brought him in, we believed in his impact. And he's delivered. He also addressed public perception, particularly after the Liverpool game, where Arsenal outshot their opponent yet faced criticism. I've seen very different opinions than mine after that match. But that's football. You respect all perspectives, but remain grounded in what you see daily from your players. Squad depth, competition and keeping everyone happy. With the summer window closed and the squad settled, Arteta now has 2 quality players for nearly every position. It's what every top team aims for. But managing it? That's the job. We've been very intentional. Some players left who gave everything to the club. Now, we have clarity until January, and I'm very happy with the group. Contract talks, Saka, Saliba and long-term vision. Asked about future planning and contracts, Arteta was optimistic. The conversations never stop. But the most important thing is that our players want to stay. They want to be a part of this story, and that's powerful. Andrea is leading those efforts, and we're in a good place. On Noni Maduke's breakout and mental strength. Maduke's rise with England has turned heads, and quieted critics. I've only seen positive support from our fans. He's been fantastic mentally. Scoring for England, performing consistently, it shows character. I spoke with Thomas, Frank, and we're both really happy for him. Asked if that puts pressure on Saka when he returns, Arteta welcomed the challenge. I hope it does. That's what we want, healthy competition. That's how players grow. Handling player form and performance dips. Arteta also discussed how players evolve, peak, and sometimes regress. With attackers, it's natural. You have to ask, are we putting them in the right scenarios? Are we helping them thrive? Communication is key. And can players be overcoached? Of course. Bad training is worse than no training. Coaching has to be intentional, every session, every drill. On title rivals like Liverpool. Finally, on Liverpool's summer business and how it reshapes the title race. They've strengthened massively, brought in 2 of Europe's most decisive players. But we have to focus on ourselves. We know what we're capable of. In summary, Arteta was calm, clear, and confident, balancing respect for the competition with belief in his squad's growth. Arsenal's depth, player development, and tactical evolution are at the heart of his message. Now, with a home game against Forest on the horizon, the focus turns from words to action. Growing optimism around Arsenal, but questions still remain. As Mikel Arteta wrapped up his press conference, there was a clear sense of renewed belief around Arsenal, but also acknowledgement of the challenges ahead. With the Premier League race heating up and the Champions League returning soon, every detail matters, from squad fitness to strategic clarity. But while the return of William Saliba brought a wave of optimism, Bukayo Saka's injury continues to raise concern. Supporters and analysts alike are speculating about his potential return date, with hopes pinned on his availability against Manchester City next weekend, if not before. The Gunners will also be keeping a close eye on Piero Hincapie's integration, especially as defensive depth becomes critical heading into a packed fixture schedule. His performance against Argentina with the Ecuador national team has already turned heads, and if he can adapt quickly to Arteta's system, it could prove to be one of the smartest signings of the window. Ange Postecoglou, the wild card return. Arteta's praise for Ange Postecoglou wasn't just professional courtesy, it came with a note of caution. Postecoglou's tactical unpredictability makes him difficult to prepare for, especially with his Forest side still very much a mystery. This match will be the first real glimpse into how Forest might evolve under Ange's leadership, and Arteta knows how quickly a new manager can change a team's momentum. David Raya's milestone. a quiet leader making history. One of the more overlooked storylines heading into the Forest game is David Raya's milestone: 100 club appearances across competitions, with 41 clean sheets, nearly a 50% clean sheet rate. That's not just good, it's historic. Arteta was firm in his backing of the Spanish goalkeeper, subtly reminding critics that Raya's impact goes beyond shot stopping. He brings control, composure, and contributes significantly to our build-up and tempo. That consistency is why he's been so important. This milestone is already being celebrated across Arsenal's online community, with fans noting how Raya has silenced early season doubts and become a cornerstone of the team's backline. Media perception and Arsenal's tactical identity. Perhaps one of the most revealing moments of the press conference was Arteta's response to the media's perception after the 1-1 draw against Liverpool. Despite Arsenal dominating possession and having higher XG, many pundits criticised the Gunners for being too conservative. Arteta was composed but made his point clear. Sometimes, perception is shaped by the result, not the performance. But we watch these players every day. We trust what we see. This sparked debate among fans and pundits. Some argue Arsenal need to be more ruthless in big matches, while others believe Arteta's evolving tactical setup, one that can shift between aggressive pressing and disciplined control, is exactly what they need to challenge for the title over long season. Internal competition heating up. With nearly a fully fit squad, minus Saka, Jesus, and Havertz, the competition for starting places is fiercer than ever. This is not just a problem. It's a feature of a club chasing major trophies. Arteta acknowledged this with a smile. It's what every top team has to deal with. It's not about keeping everyone happy. It's about making the team better. When players perform, they play. It's that simple. The midfield, in particular, has seen increasing depth, with Declan Rice, Degaard, Fabio Vieira, and now Madueke all pushing hard. The rise of Madueke, in particular, has given Arteta an unexpected selection headache once Saka returns, albeit a welcome one. Arsenal's title ambitions, a tightrope walk. While Arteta was respectful in his comments about Liverpool's business, especially the signing of Alexander Isak, his focus remains inward. They've strengthened massively, yes. But we look at ourselves. We know what we have to improve. There's a sense that Arsenal's ceiling this season is higher than last year, thanks to better squad balance, more versatility, and lessons learned from last season's title race collapse. But with Manchester City, Liverpool, and now even Tottenham pushing hard, the margin for error is razor-thin. Contract talks and long-term planning. Away from the pitch, contract talks are quietly progressing. Arteta confirmed discussions are ongoing with key players like Bukayo Saka and William Saliba, and there's a strong belief inside the club that both are committed to Arsenal's long-term vision. The players want to stay. That's the most important thing, Arteta said. They want to be part of this journey. It's a subtle but strong message. The foundations of Arsenal's future are being laid now, and they're being built to last. Looking ahead. As the Gunners prepare to host Nottingham Forest in Saturday's early kickoff, the sense of expectation is palpable. It's more than just a routine Premier League fixture. It's a test of depth, resilience, and whether this Arsenal side can restart the post-international break calendar with intent. Arteta and his squad are clear-eyed about the challenges, but they're also united in their purpose. As he put it simply,